All right, we're on the fifth episode of the Two Bros Bruins Talk podcast, and here we go. Please like and subscribe.
Let's do this.
All right, so I think the first thing we said we're going to talk about was what happened in the NHL Finals.
Yeah,
Carolina won it all. Can't
yeah,
believe it. I put my foot in my mouth. I
yeah,
said Vegas in five. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I felt like Vegas kind of ran out of gas. So you got to give Carolina credit. They outlasted them because the first three games, it is, I know Carolina won game two, but it was all Vegas up until, Vegas got out to that 4-0 lead in game three, and they brought Bussy in, kind of like waving the white flag. And that seemed to change the whole series, believe it or not. And it
I
wasn't just
know.
that; it was the beating that that um, Vegas's defense had taken all playoffs, and they were
Oh
only
yeah.
rolling essentially four guys running their third pair out there very randomly, like sparsely at the end. And I think that just took its toll. You watched, guys like Hannafin and Theodore were just making unforced errors by game five and six, right? Like things
Oh
you'd
yeah.
never see them do. They were just
And
exhausted. Like it wasn't even like Carolina was getting to them. They were literally just turning pucks over, when they're 3-4 feet away from them. It was like the
yep.
anticipation was just too much. They were just getting too worn out. It's a shame
Uh,
because I
And
feel like,
Rasmus Anderson proved he wasn't a nine or
oh,
$10 million
he
defenseman.
cost them. He
Okay.
cost them two games.
Well,
Cost
I
them two
think
games. He
maybe
cost them
being
game two
he did,
for
but maybe
sure.
being in Calgary, he a little full of himself before who he was playing with over there. But because
Maybe,
I think he's a $7 million, $6.5 to $7 million guy, second pair, third pair
yeah,
guy. Or he'd
yeah.
be probably good at second or third pair. He is not a first line right side D. He's not. And you're right. They had injuries, and he was playing a ton of minutes.
I
And
think, yeah. I think once again he's one of these guys that can look like $1 million in the regular season when guys
right,
are not willing to go that extra
yeah,
step to make
to throw the
contact
balls to the
or
wall.
or to take a puck in the face
Yep,
or
yep.
like all the stuff that they'll do in the playoffs. They ain't doing in the regular season. So you have a little more space, you have a little more time, and all of a sudden when the pressure is on, and that's exactly all Carolina does is just play pressure hockey.
Oh yeah,
And if you
shots off,
are
shots off.
calm and collected and can make plays quickly, like here's the thing, there were plays to be made, and then they just were at the end. And he even at the beginning of that finals, like I know game one looked like Tortorella was not happy with him. Like,
Yeah.
dude, put your big boy pants on. Let's go. We're in the Stanley Cup Finals now. What are you doing?
I think the only reason, this is going to sound because I do not like Florida. Let's put this in the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
yeah,
I am not a Florida fan. I love
yeah,
Brad Marchand, and it's the only reason I watched.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Florida, they wouldn't have made it past Florida if Florida was healthy this year. Carolina,
Well, I
no,
mean, I don't want to say
nah,
yes or no
nah.
because I feel like they got more scoring this year out of Stankhoven. Get this, Stankhoven and Ehlers literally changed that whole team because prior to that, this would have been a team that would have been just if they could get to 3 goals, that was a lot, but they would beat you up and try to hold you under 3 goals, right? Like that's kind of the way they always
Well,
played. They got lucky, and I think here's the thing, and I said this before: Vegas was one of the few teams that they ran into that could push back and counterpunch because they had the D to do it. And I
yeah.
think we just saw they wore them down, and all of a sudden, the last two games, the top line suddenly Svechnikov and Aho decided to show up after
Yeah, no, they
they're
weren't
on
even.
their 19th game of the
Yeah.
playoffs. They decide, hey, I might want to do something here and make a
Well, Michael
difference.
was worn down. Stone
Oh
was
yeah,
worn down.
well,
Stone came back from an injury way early. I mean, he
yeah.
just wanted to get in the playoffs.
I mean, not to make
They needed
excuses,
him.
but you could see Eichel was having
Oh
trouble
yeah.
shooting the puck. And
I
then,
mean,
I mean, if he scores that goal there when they had a 2-1 nothing, maybe that changes it. But that's the difference, right? Like Carolina just comes at waves. They pressure the puck. If you beat their pressure, you're going to get chances. We saw it in the first three
oh
games.
yeah.
And honestly, I feel like the difference was Bussy, because as much as Freddie was playing well,
Yeah,
I,
except to
I
get
felt like
smarter.
I feel like Bussy was not like
He didn't give up.
he battled,
He
right?
did.
He's a younger guy, he battles, right? He maybe not perfect, but he battled. And I think he kind of fits the whole mold of Carolina, right? We may not be the prettiest guys, but we we'll get it. We'll try to get it done. And I think that's what it was. And I just felt
Well,
like,
you
hey, it was still the two best teams. Don't you think it was still the two best teams that
yeah. From what
and
we had
honestly,
this
I
year,
feel
yeah.
like they were one play away from that, you know, I didn't like the opening goal, and I'm not blaming Carter Hart. And maybe we could talk about this real quick. Like, why did John stick with Carter Hart so long?
I don't know. I don't know. I do think Carter Hart's a good goalie, so I don't want to take that away from that
Yeah,
kid. He's a rookie. I mean, I know Bussy, but Bussy, remember, Bussy didn't play the whole playoffs
yeah,
except for the end.
yeah,
Carter played
yeah,
through the whole playoffs and got them
yeah.
to the
And I'm
Stanley
not
Cup.
blaming him,
You know what I
dude. I'm
mean?
not blaming him at all.
Carter
I
got
mean, I
them
felt
there.
like I felt like he should have had. He was right there. I felt like there were times though in this series where he was kind of diving past things a little too much instead of being a little
Oh,
calmer.
game 5, that backhand. He just
I
missed it.
know.
Just
Yeah.
just missed it. That
Yep.
could have swung
Yep.
things.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
Is he was flying by and he couldn't keep his arm up.
Yep.
His weight of his body was pulling his hand down, right? And again, that's he compact movement. I think we see this with some of these guys, the ones that are when they scramble, right? Like we've seen it. We used to watch Tim Thomas, right?
Oh, Timmy just a
Right.
scramble every
But the difference with Tim, I think, is when he was at his best, he didn't give rebounds, right?
Nope.
Like that was,
Nope.
and
One of
again,
my
like
favorite Tim
hey,
Thomas was when he flopped back and swatted it with the stick, with the blade of the side of the stick, and he's like he just flopped
right,
backwards. Whack.
right. And the other difference you could definitely say, and what made really the difference in the series was Carolina's power play showed up in game 4, 5, and 6, and that was all the difference, right? Like the
Yep.
last 3 games, their power play showed up, and that was the difference because normally I think the penalty killers, for Vegas were a strength, and had they just done their job, maybe this is a different series too. But again, I all the credit in the world goes to Carolina. I felt
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they played their ass off, and they definitely deserved to win a Stanley Cup. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, they had to go through some what people would say lesser teams, right? Ottawa,
Mm.
Philadelphia, Montreal. Even though Montreal, I tell you what, Montreal's
Montreal's got
no
a hell of a
joke,
team.
no joke
Montreal's
at
going to be
all.
scary this year coming. Man, I'm worried about more Montreal than most teams the next year for
Yeah,
us.
I
So,
honestly think they're
yeah.
probably. Here's the
Dobish.
thing: they have the goaltending that Buffalo doesn't
They,
have.
they got the goaltending
Because
that most teams don't have. Dobish is
I know,
incredible.
if you're looking at the Atlantic Division right now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what maybe the most dangerous team is Montreal.
Yep.
Buffalo, maybe Buffalo carries over some of their success, but I still don't think they have the goaltending. So
Do you
they're
wait
gonna yeah
before we move on? Do
yeah.
you really think that Buffalo is going to do the same thing they did this year next year?
You know what? I feel pretty confident that they are going to be legit next year, and they're going to be fighting for a top 3 spot in the division, unless their goaltending really goes to poop. But here's the thing: I felt like they figured out how to play, enough defense, as a team to outscore their woes. Now, will Tuck leave a bit of a hole? Maybe. I feel like they still have enough talent. You know what I mean? That they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think they need to do something with their
They have
goaltending.
so much talent on their back end. They're looking
Yeah.
to move Owen Power, and they'll still be fine, right? Like, but yeah, I again, the Bruins are kind of screwed. I think next year because I feel like maybe you'd have to hope that maybe Tampa takes a step
Yep.
back, and you have
Before
to
we get
hope that
into that,
maybe Florida doesn't come back to full strength, which I think that's wishful thinking on the Bruins fans' part, but it's just me. But anyways, let's move on.
before we leave the finals thing because it's kind of segued to other stuff,
Yeah,
is Bussy. Did the Bruins
yeah.
learn anything from
Let's
letting
hope,
Bussy
man.
go for nothing? Because I'm
Well,
not saying
yeah,
Bussy is Swayman, but Bussy's a damn good goaltender. And we
yeah.
all knew he was a good goaltender, but
Wasn't
DiPietro
it fitting
outplayed him.
though? Hold on. Wasn't it fitting that he got to finish that series because he played what 40 games or
I think it was 38
36
games.
games or 38 games, whatever it was,
Yeah.
38 games, he won 33 of them,
Yep.
and was their number one goalie essentially,
Yep.
saved kind of their season because Pachekov and Anderson were hurt,
Yep.
right? Like, and then he comes in and wins essentially the last 2 games, and
How does Florida feel letting him go for nothing when they had him and they need a goalie? How does Florida
I
feel
know. Well,
right now?
the
They're gonna be
Bruins have
worse
him.
mad than we are.
I don't want to say like it's you take advantage of the moments that you have, and maybe some people here, I'm sure that some people in the Bruins front office will say, well, he didn't take advantage of his opportunities. You didn't give him many. Let's be honest, right? Like
Well,
he's
let's
not
hope
like two
that's what I'm
preseason
saying. Did
games.
they learn anything from this and give DiPietro the opportunity to come up and play? Because DiPietro outplayed him in the AHL. And
Don Sweeney is still the general manager, so
yeah,
your
I
guess
know.
is as good as mine,
Okay.
right?
Why you gotta burst my bubble and hopes and dreams and all that other
I know.
good stuff? You just
Let's
pop.
hope.
You just poof.
I know.
I mean, you're like, oh,
I
we
could
Don Sweeney
honestly
did.
see, hold on, I could honestly see a team now coming in and trying to make a deal for DiPietro just
Oh
to
yeah.
see if you're going
Yep.
to catch lightning again in a bottle, right?
I was
If the
thinking
lightning
about
strikes
this.
twice,
I was thinking about
right?
this earlier today. Is some team gonna go? Listen, DiPietro, because everybody can. I'm sorry, I think a lot of teams can tell now, or at least the offices can tell that we do good at developing goalies. Nothing else. We
Yeah,
can't develop a
yeah,
goddamn shit else, but we can develop goalies. All right. I mean,
yeah. Bob
uh,
Astenza, Bob's the man when it comes to developing goalies,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, Blanar wasn't he part of the Bruins? Blashaw, no,
Vlanar, who's
Blanar. He was
Yeah. Oh my God, you're messing me
Blash.
off now.
What is his name? Isn't it
Uh,
Blashaw?
no, yeah, Dan Vladard, right? The one that was
Bladar.
with the Philadelphia Flyers, who
Yep.
actually he was essentially their starting goalie. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
also. Remember, he came up with Swayman.
That's what
They
I'm
were
saying. He
together.
he was. Yeah. We've done really good at
Yeah,
goalies.
hold on. Right. Again, he took him a while to really develop, but he always had talent. So yeah, I mean, but again, that's
And
never been the Bruins' issue. We just suddenly got saddled with a backup goalie who, for
yeah.
lack of a, uh, the Bruins strapped themselves to a bad contract and they can't get rid of it, and that's kind of held.
Well,
That kept Bussy from getting a shot, and
this
it's going to probably keep DiPietro from getting a shot,
we've
right?
talked about this before, and then and last year, I will admit, I wasn't too sure about Laterno before his season started with again the second season with Boston College, right? Yeah,
Right,
but I think Sweeney was, he was all he needed. He wanted that first round pick, he wanted Laterno, and he got Corpy to get it. Right, he had to take
right,
Corpy to get it.
right. He took the
So
good with the bad, right?
right. Now, if
Took the
Laterno
bad with
turns
the
out to
good,
be
whatever you want to say.
Tage Thompson or something like that, then it was
Mm-hmm.
worth it. Doesn't matter. You know?
Right,
No, I don't know if he's
right.
gonna. I have hopes. I have big hope that he's gonna. But um,
Yeah.
next thing is we want to talk about the Dylan Larkin rumors. Like, well,
Sure.
supposedly there's multiple reports that he had to that Eiserman asked him for more teams. Listen,
Yeah.
those three teams that you're,
Yeah.
Vegas, Minnesota, and Florida, they're
Yeah.
not giving up the goods. So we need more teams. And there's like 5 or 6 different reports from pretty trusted people. I think Elliot Friedman was one, Drager was another. That that he's had to give. He gave Eiserman, I think, 3 more teams, but at least the reports are multiple more teams that he would be willing to go to, and he has done that from all the reports I've seen. Now, I did see a Detroit sports radio station say that they had inside information that Boston was one of those teams. Now, I don't mind Dylan Larkin, but he's not an elite number one center. He's the better center that we'd ever have right now.
Yeah. He's the
Okay,
best. Right.
but
We haven't had
he's
right
from
since
since
Patrice
Bergeron, yeah,
and right.
and Krejci. I think Krejci was better.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but
Different type of player, right?
since then we haven't had anybody.
Dylan's a north south guy who can drive play with his skating, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he. Here's the thing though, if you listen to some of these people in Detroit, these podcasters and pundits over there, they talk about the fact that they don't feel like he's been a very great captain. And again, of course, he comes to Boston, he won't be the captain, but like they don't. They're kind of a little upset that he hasn't really like shown, you know, the leadership that they were looking for, right? Like that, like maybe if you want out, maybe you were part of the problem to begin with, right? Like, and I mean, I can kind of understand their
What's
sentiment.
his
I don't know if
numbers?
that's true. I
But
think he's
well,
got a
the
relationship probably
leadership
with
we
Charlie,
don't really
right?
know.
I think he's
I,
probably got a relationship with Charlie, so I can imagine that's one of the reasons
that's
why.
that's the reports is he has a relationship with Charlie and
Come play
Pasta.
with Pasta. He's probably thinking, I'm playing the first line. I'll get to play with Pasta, and suddenly I'll put up numbers like I've never
So
put up in
let
my career,
let's
right?
let's see. What is his point?
I'm sure if I was him,
His
I'd feel the same
points,
way.
total points,
Go from
uh,
one, go from one original
total
six to another, and stay in the
total
East.
points
And
this year. He averages looks like between 60 and high 70s is what his
yeah,
average is for
he's like a
his
30-30
entire
guy.
career almost. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a 30
Yeah,
30
30
guy.
30. He had one
Yeah,
year 32 47,
yeah,
33 36, 30
he's
40.
okay on face-offs. He's
Yeah.
not like he's
He did
gonna.
34 33 this year. So I mean,
Yeah,
he's not
yeah. No,
bad.
here's the thing, and here's what he will do is he backs people off with his speed. He's got great speed. He does compete. I would say, again, if it depends on what you have to give up, and I'm sure Detroit would want boatloads. So who knows? But like, I mean, unless he really forced things, and the Bruins were able to kind of
Do we
like
know do we
limited
know what
deal,
the well, do we
they
know
want
what
they
Florida
want Toronto's pick and
here?
some and a couple other picks.
Well,
I mean,
let's go see if we can find out what Florida actually offered because there is supposed to be a legit offer that came into them. What
yeah, it was
did
like E2 Listerine and one of their young players plus I think a first round pick or something. So they're talking about two players and a pick. I mean, I'm sure
uh
Boston could come up something like that. I mean, but is it anything that Detroit would want and deal them in the division? The only way I see Detroit doing that is if they got either a massive return or they went, they're going to redo the reset all over again, right? But you
yeah.
have Mo Sider, you have Mason Raymond, you got some players there. I mean, here's the thing though, they don't really have a goalie. They do have a draft pick that's coming up that I think is pretty good, but like that's it. Like they are kind of again, if Eisman's looking at the division going, where am I at really? Like, are we can sort of compete, but are we really like right
Red
there?
Wings? No. You think so?
I
Compared to
don't
but
think so.
what's in the Atlantic next year is tough teams. I don't think Detroit's in that mix, right?
And that's it. Like that's what I'm saying to you. Do they have enough depth to where they think that they can compete?
I mean, I
Like
don't know if
again,
we're
Mo
in that
Sider's
mix
no
next
joke. Mo
year.
Sider's Mo
Yeah,
Sider's a
most like
star, right?
Mo's
He's
awesome.
he's a good
Mo is
player.
awesome.
Mason Raymond, good player, right? Like, but what else you got?
If Dylan Larkin
Right?
leaves,
Right. That's what I'm saying. And
nothing.
once Dylan Larkin's
Nothing.
gone, like what else is
Nothing.
there?
Nothing.
Right. Like, I honestly think they are like in the hierarchy of things, they are just ahead of Toronto. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if we're being honest, like, I would say right now, Montreal,
Well,
right, Buffalo, Tampa, and then
Florida.
no,
Florida.
no,
Florida.
I'm thinking Ottawa and Boston are kind of only because
You don't
if
think Florida's up there?
Florida's probably you're right. Maybe
Florida's up
Florida
there,
is
Mike.
right there with
I,
Ottawa and Boston because maybe if they here's the thing if they don't get goaltending next year, they're going
well,
to be
okay,
in
that's
trouble
okay.
again as well.
All right, I'll
Like
put that as the
Bob's
caveat.
what is
If they
Bob
don't
40
get,
years old? Like what do
he's
they
40.
think's going to happen? They
Right.
unless they go out, maybe they get Markstrom or something. Like they somehow steal a goaltender somewhere
Well,
because I
what's
think
his name?
that's going to be their.
St. Louis,
They
isn't
can
what's
play
his name?
defense, they can score
Is
goals, but they
hey,
don't have a goalie right now.
what's his name from St. Louis? Isn't he a free agent this year?
Who? Oh, Bennington.
Bennington. I bet you
Oh,
Bennington would go to Florida on a deal just to try and
maybe. Maybe.
one more
Again,
run in
okay,
the
so
cup.
hold on. No, but I mean if you're being honest, okay, so yeah. So now Florida's at 4, then Ottawa, then Boston,
Right,
and
right. That's
then
what I
and
know. We're gonna
Detroit,
have
and then and then
so
and then
that's
Toronto.
that's gonna be the next discussion after we're done talking about the rumors. Is like where do we think the Bruins are gonna be
I
next year? I mean,
if they
because
don't make any moves, they're going to be they'll struggle to make the playoffs. I
it'll
don't know
be
if 5 teams are going to make from the Atlantic again, right?
no, and Toronto. I don't want to go after the Toronto too much, but there's reports now. We already know that Nylander was on the board to be traded, right? They right. It
I
was
think he's the
Nylander.
only guy that I ever heard wasn't on the board.
I
Morgan
thought it was
Riley just gave
Nylander.
his list because they asked him for a list.
No, no. Didn't the trade deadline trade? There was the trade that missed it by a minute. Wasn't that Nylander?
Not that I know of.
Wait, I thought it
Nyes was supposed to
was it
go.
Nyes at the trade
Matthew
deadline.
Nyes. Matthew Nyes was the one that didn't get through. Matthew Nyes. But
Oh,
and
I thought it
even
was
then, I'm like,
Nylander.
why would they trade? I don't understand their philosophy, right? Like, what are you doing?
Oh, okay, you're right.
Like
It
what?
was nice.
Right?
Was the
Yeah.
failed trade, but still,
Nylander's
what are
never
they
been. I
doing?
don't think.
But what are they doing if if they're talking about trading away Nyes? And yeah, that's where I heard another report that he's still on the block. What are you
He'd
trading
make
away
a great
Nyes
Bruin,
for?
wouldn't he?
Oh my
Oh, I know,
god!
right?
But so if you're went and picked up, you got rid of Wall, which wasn't that great, but yeah, it was your
No,
goaltender.
they
I don't know
cleared.
what you
They just cleared. Hold on. If you look at what they did, they kind of just cleared $5 million in cap space. Is all they
what
did.
are
So they're
they
probably going to
going
go sign
after?
Alex Tuck. What do you bet? What do you bet? That's what they're going to do. They're going to go sign Alex Tuck.
They need defense.
Yeah, but again, like you're looking at this
They need
all
a
wrong.
goalie and a defender. They have
I
neither
know
one.
that's right.
So
Or maybe, or hear me out. Maybe they're going to make a play for Hellebuck.
that's
You know,
okay. That makes more sense. I think anyway. Who knows? I don't want to talk about Toronto, but I was just saying,
no,
what the hell
I'm
are they
just saying like
doing?
how that affects us
Can we get
because
nice?
yeah, because
Can we
that's
get nice? Does Toronto willing to deal nice
I
to
don't think
Boston
they'll.
Bruins?
I think they dodged a bullet with what that pick just was. So I don't think they'll ever deal in Boston ever again. Right?
Them bastards. We're getting screwed on that pick so bad. 2028. Who knows what the hell's going
Yeah.
to happen by
Who
2028?
knows though? But who knows? Watch this.
We
Who
could
you
have
never
had
know,
Keaton
right? Like I don't want
Verhoff.
to say never, but now it's pushed 2 years into the future. You never know.
We could
But
have
it's
had
it's
Keaton
so
Verhoff.
funny that he had he had it all. Donnie had that pick looking like $1 million, and he could have leveraged that probably like nobody's business, right? Nobody's
Oh,
business
yeah.
because the thought of is that that's probably going to end up in this in a top 10 without being in the top five, and right like if you were thinking well the Bruins they have this to offer us and a couple of
I
young
know.
players or
Well,
maybe even two of those picks.
we talked about this off the show. Sweeney should have went after the St. Louis when they were willing to trade Robert
I
Thomas, and
honestly
now
feel
they're
like,
not. But I don't want to
and
get into straight
I
woods.
know a lot of people were all about Colorado at when they started off so well, but I kind of felt like this was an open year. Like
No, it
this
was.
was a year if you had goaltending and and some and a couple of stars, maybe you could ride that a wave of momentum and all the way to a cup. To be honest with you, like the Bruins,
Vegas
I
did.
think the reason why
Vegas did
Pasta's
that.
so upset, I think they totally wasted maybe one of his best seasons of his career playing with nobodies. And if they had just gone out and got him somebody, even if it was Elias Pettersson, and they had to take the take the poison pill, swallow
Yeah.
this pill and just hope that you know what I mean. But he did nothing, and I really feel like everybody came
Well,
at the Bruins like, well, you really don't have
do
anything
you
to offer us, but hey, we'll take Morgan Geeky off your hands.
do you want to
You know what I
segue
mean?
into that to where they did nothing and Pasta? We talked a little bit about this the other day, but like the fact that Pasta said something to the press before the trade deadline,
Yeah,
I hope they do something for us.
yeah,
And at the after the trade deadline at the press conference, when the reporter asked, well, did you know Pasta and Geeky said we hope they do something for us, and Sweeney said the response about Geeky, well, I had offered, but it said zero about what
yeah.
Pasta said. He
I
said
know.
nothing about what Pasta
Yeah,
said. And then at the end of the season, Pasta's like, well, I had to do this. I'm 30 years
I
old.
know.
So
Yeah,
Pasta's telling you, he's telling the fans, he's telling the press, he's telling the front office, do
right,
something for me. I am not
right,
happy. I
right,
mean, there's no
right.
question about it. Do you think there's a question he's not happy? No, I don't think there's a question he's not happy. I
So
mean,
this is really kind of a this is I hate to
it's a
say I
make or
don't want to
break
put
year.
everything on this off season, but
Yeah.
if they I mean it's here's the thing, it's all set up right now to have a worse season than they had last year. The expectations now are way too high for what they still have on the roster to suddenly think that this is going to be a better next year than what it was this year, right?
Well, you know what?
Like
That's
let's
what
be honest.
yeah, I was gonna say that's what I'm gonna title this video. I'm gonna put it to the episode 5, but it's make or break off season for
Oh,
Boston Bruin. It is.
absolutely.
It is. We
And
could be
because right.
screwed if this season goes bad.
Yeah, and it's not because the fans are that oh my god we got to chase cups. It's more like build us a team that you know what I mean that is competitive and don't waste. Here's the thing, like you're wasting these guys' careers. So if you're going to do that, I think as fans, instead of drafting in the in the 20s every year and hoping to get a guy that you got lucky with Pasta at 25. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like that don't happen every year.
No.
You know what I mean? We
No.
don't, and we
And
haven't had
Marshawn's in the
scouting that
second
good
round don't
since
come
like,
around every
yeah, we haven't
10,
had
12
scouting
years.
that good since like 2006. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Was it
so
Lucic,
here's the thing.
Lucic,
They need to,
Marshawn,
right.
South second round, right? But that comes
Yeah,
around once
all
every
the guys
20
we
years,
got, you know,
you
yeah,
know,
2003 was Bergeron and those
or
guys.
22 years ago.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing, like either blow it
23
up
years ago.
and do, yeah, I know people don't want to hear this, like, but look what Montreal did, right? They
Uh,
blew it up. They got the first overall pick, and I know people, oh my God, you went for this guy, this Slavkovsky kid, but you know what? He wasn't the only guy. And then they traded off decent pieces. They traded off Pacioretty, and they got their captain for crying out loud out of
Well,
that deal.
okay, hold
Nick
on, slow down,
Suzuki.
slow down though. But you don't have
Yeah.
to blow it up if you make good moves this offseason.
Oh, but
I'm
here's the
saying
thing.
the question
Right.
is if he does
Right.
nothing, you
Yeah.
should have blown it up.
Yeah.
That's it's if
Yeah.
he's gonna do nothing, blow it up.
So
That's my
when
thing.
right,
If he's gonna do
right, but so
nothing,
when
blow it
during
up.
this off season, when during this off season do you is there where's the line where you go, oh crap,
This
um,
week,
if
this
I
week,
don't if I don't if I don't make my team better, he needs to come up with, I mean, at bare minimum, one first line player, which they're not available very often, but you better find one of them, right? Because we again, you got to do this to Pastrnak again. Like if they were drafting in the top 10, I'd say, okay, well now they're essentially pulling the lever, and if they get a kid who's dynamic, you know, and I mean offensive, you know, a forward, whether that's a center, a wing, whatever, whoever it is, that you could put with Pasta, and it brings hope to the fan base, but hope to Pasta, right?
right?
And
Pasta.
I don't want to be down on Higgins yet either, but again, like you got to play these kids. Like this is the problem when you think that you're a cup contender and you are so full of your own poop, right? Like I swear to God, it's like that episode from South Park where everybody's smelling their own farts. That's Donnie Swindon for Christ's sakes, right? Like,
Oh,
come on,
but
dude.
he has that aura. I'm the smartest man in the room. He does.
But
He
play
has that
right.
aura.
But here's
It's the
like
way he talks.
again, you got lucky. You drafted a franchise goalie in the fourth round, right? You drafted a franchise defenseman, right? Back in 2017 or whatever
Where's
Charlie was,
Charlie?
16, whatever,
What,
right?
where's he like?
You got an all-world, all-time player in Pastrnak, and that's it. So either go out now and build around them, which he should have
Okay.
been doing the last
Right,
two
right,
or
right.
three
But
years.
we know this.
Not
The only thing
selling
is,
off pieces for absolutely nothing rentals. This is his problem. He blew up so much crap over rentals, right? That he missed
Michael,
the
we know
boat.
this. This is where he screwed our point. But let's talk about right now. So,
Yeah, right
like, I
now.
want to get back. Want to get back to what you just said before. Was that where's the line of when you make the decision?
Well, that's
I
it.
say, listen.
Right. Yeah,
What
go
I
ahead.
say is that you have to make that decision this week. If not that you can't know if you're going to get guys because the free agency and stuff like that is July 1st, but you can decide make a decision this week. Are we going to make a real hard push to get one of
Right,
these top guys from one of these teams willing to? You have to like what is the word? Like set your mind to, hey, we're going to be willing to push
right,
all in to go get somebody that we really need.
right,
Or you say, hey, we're not going to be able to. We might as well trade Pasta for the
right,
second overall pick if he's willing to go to San Jose. Trade Charlie for the fifth pick to New York, and we're going to rebuild. But you have to make that decision this draft before this draft starts because this draft is
right,
loaded,
right,
and who
right,
knows what next year? What we know this year is,
right,
and
right,
you can't for sure say, we know we're going to get these guys, but at least make the commitment. That's the word I look for, that you're going to really go after somebody
right,
this week. If not,
right,
forget it.
right.
If they just go and get friggin' like what is the good defenseman's name from Tampa that everybody's high on right now?
Oh, Radish.
Radish. If they go out and get Radish and go get us a couple of third round bag of pucks, third line bag again, I'm gonna have a friggin' heart
But that's
attack.
the MO, dude. But doesn't that see? Here's the thing. He had one good off season. I mean, one good trade
Well,
deadline
everybody
and one
knows.
good off season, and now
Everybody knows
suddenly
that.
we're cup contenders again. He's full of his own poop. This is the
Yes.
problem. Step back and look at your team and
Ah,
understand that either you're either
but
committed to those three guys that, like I said, that are the building blocks of your team, and you're going to build around them, or you're going, you know what? I missed my window. But I think the problem is there is a window to be had if you, like you said, if you're willing to push all in. I feel like they want to have their cake and eat it too.
Well, see,
They
I
want
think
to
that's
have
part
this
of the
belief
problem.
that they have done enough to just and again, you know what it just this smacks of greed. Like, oh, we just have to make the playoffs to make the owner happy because he likes money, money, money,
Yeah,
money,
yeah, yeah.
and
Right,
that's
right, right.
it. But
I know.
because as far as long term, they don't seem. He blew so much capital, right, on that 22-23 team.
I know. Okay, we're going back. Let's talk.
No,
Yes,
no, but
he blew
I
out.
think it's well,
Right. We have no
it's
capital. We have
worth
no
it though. It's
prospects.
worth it. Listen to
Okay.
me. It's worth mentioning it because that's really what screwed them 5 years from now, right? Like this window. Again, you had
Well, it
Costa
screwed us
then. You
now
had Charlie
because we
then.
have those
You
kids
had
coming up.
Swayman. You had
Yes.
these pieces. You went out and got. Hold on. You went out and got Hampus Lindholm, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Now Hampus, he's kind of damaged goods, right? Like
He is
he's
damaged.
still a good player, but does he would be a great guy to have on a championship caliber team. This ain't that team. He can't carry the weight. He can't
Well,
carry the
okay.
mail anymore.
You're right, but if you listen to me, if you go and get rid of Hampus right now and you don't make any moves, you're just burying yourself more in the hole.
Oh no, I
If
agree
you
with
go
you.
and get
I
rid of
agree with
Hampus
you.
right now and
I
you ain't doing
agree.
no moves,
I
you
agree
ain't
with you.
you are
I
burying yourself
agree.
further in the hole, and Charlie's probably out the door. And we're gonna, I guess that's a segue real quick. Before we get to that, one last thing because there is, you're right, 100%. They don't do nothing. I think this team, and this is what I was gonna get to next. I don't think we do even. I don't think we get to the playoffs next year.
Oh,
If
I
they
don't
don't
think
do
so either.
nothing, if they
I
don't
don't
play,
think so.
if they don't bring up Patra, they don't play Patra. If Lock Mellis isn't up here next year, they might as well play these guys and see what we have. If they're not going to do nothing, we may go
Right.
nowhere next year. Next year, the teams can be even better, and we don't even get to the wild card. And then
Right.
I'm pretty sure Pasta and Mac by the trade den is like, send me somewhere to go get my cup. See you later.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And is it too late by then? Right.
It
Like, I
is
mean,
too well. It's
did
not
you
too
miss your
late, but
window? Because
we missed a
now,
good
I mean,
window.
again, I'm sure there'll always going to be decent players to draft, but this might be
The
one of the
top
best
10
years in a
is
long time.
stacked. The top 10 is stacked with kids that could be
But here's the
really,
thing:
really
not
good.
everybody, not every the consensus isn't that. What the consensus has been is that it's a very good draft. The top three are maybe some of the best we've had in a while, and then there's a whole other section of about
Right.
I don't know
Other kids
15
that could be
guys that are
really
all
good
kind
in a
of
few
like you could
years.
throw a blanket over them, but
Right.
they're all going to be very good, right? I mean, they're talking about even in the second round, like you're going to find guys that are going to play in the NHL, right? Not right away. I mean,
I
who knows?
I think McKenna's going to be really good. I think I have this. I've been watching more and more stuff about Maholtra. I think Maholtra could be the superstar that everybody at
I think
first
you're
was
right.
talking
I
McKenna.
think you're
And
right.
and
I think you're
I
right.
have this sad thing that whoever picks, not saying they're going to be upset with taking McKenna at one, but I have a feeling Maholtra's going to be like the guy that went, we could have had him. We could have
Right.
had him. you know.
Right.
And as for defenseman, I love Chase Reed. His skills are crazy. I still think Keaton Verhoff is going to be the one that for some reason people went down on. Later on, they're going to go, oh man, that guy just brutal, and his defense is, you know what I mean? Like I
Right.
think Keaton's going to be the one. Whoever gets him at sixth or fifth or maybe if they're going to be ecstatic, and he's going to be great.
He reminds me of Alex Petrangelo, to be honest
Oh
with you.
yeah, 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 yeah. You
And
know,
I mean, that would be like I can only imagine teams would be lining
yeah,
up to get another Alex
right.
Petrangelo, right?
You know, but yeah. I mean, that's I don't know. That's what I think with this draft. If you're going to make that move, do it before, make the decision one way or the other before the draft. Make it if you're going to blow it up, but do it. Make the decision before. If you're not, make the decision to push all the chips in, go
Right.
after whoever you need to go after, offer whatever you need to offer without killing the core. I mean, I don't want to get rid of Letourneau, but if it was going to get me Robert Thomas at this point, I'd probably do it because
Right.
you
And
know
we know now that Robert
that
Thomas is
he's off
off
the
the
board,
board,
right?
which is
So
kind of makes sense because I said it when I was hearing the rumors to begin with. Why would you move that guy, right? Like
right,
Cairo, I can understand. He literally won't. He can't find his own end with a map, right? Like
right,
he
right.
does not. He cheats the game. He's got ridiculous speed. He can score. He's a natural goal scorer, but he has this bit of a problem where he gets into runs where he just cheats the game, right?
Well,
And
but
that,
okay,
and I think that's
let's
what kind of put him on the outs.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some. There was reports of him and Montgomery are not. No, he doesn't like Montgomery. Montgomery don't like him either. But like,
Here's the thing: I
where
wouldn't exactly call
does?
Montgomery a guy who's a stickler for all that either. So
Yeah,
who
yeah.
knows? That could be just a
Well,
personality thing.
but does Cairo do enough? No, you'd have to make that move and like two other moves to
Yeah.
help the
Although you know
Bruins.
what, I tell you what, Cairo would be. I mean, you put him up there with David Pastrnak, and suddenly that guy scores
Can he
40
play on the
easy. I
left?
think.
You think?
I think he'd play anywhere you want him to play if he's playing up there with Pastrnak.
Okay.
Just don't
Yeah, probably
expect him to
right.
find his own end, right? Like
Right, right,
if
right,
you
right,
don't
right, right.
expect, like you think Pasta takes off early, wait till you see Jordan Cairo.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And here's I don't have a problem with that. If the Bruins had defensemen that could make those long passes, right, could literally spring a guy. I mean, every now and again we see Charlie or Hampus do that, but they don't have really that guy back there. If they want to go out and invest in a guy like that, then go ahead. More, I would say Pasta and Cairo would get a lot of breakaways, but you can't get out of your own end. That, and like we were talking about that Zellweger kid, right? And if you look at some of his metrics, when you start right, his he puts up okay offensive numbers, but where he really shines, believe it or not, is in transition. He retrieves pucks well, and his metrics for zone exits, meaning getting out of his own end, are elite, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I was diving deep into Nemec, who I think is a fantastic defenseman, right? But it's so funny. His zone entries, meaning getting into the offensive zone, are elite. Yet
Yeah.
his exits are very poor. Like, okay,
Oh.
he would fit right in with the Bruins, right? Can't get
Yeah,
his
yeah,
own in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Can't get it.
Could be magical once you get into the neutral zone. The problem is how often does that happen? And this is the thing I was saying to you about, like, maybe the Bruins need to take a different approach based on how Stern plays. Maybe they need more guys like Zellweger who can get the puck out. And you
Well,
know what I mean? And we're looking at the offensive part of the defenseman the wrong way, right? Maybe
yeah.
if they could transition faster, we'd see more offense, right?
That's true. That's true. I
And
mean,
again, I don't think I see. Here's the thing: I didn't think that um, Lowry was bad. You know, he had actually a decent year.
he got
I
better
just
half
don't
second
think
half of the
he
season.
like his offense. He generates offense a different way, right? Like, and I just think that he couldn't piece those chains together, right? Like, he would make plays that I just don't think fit with what other guys were doing.
But don't you think
And
there's
then when he
something we
tried to
might
do
be
it
not
himself, he got yelled at, and then you just saw that regress over the last 2 years.
right?
And and I think
Well,
on a different team, and this is why he probably needs to go. On a
right. Well,
different team,
he
maybe they'll
had
let him be himself, and he will generate offense. You know what I mean? And look like $1 million. But
right,
apparently
but
here,
he had a better second half of this season. Now
oh,
he
he
did
was.
screw up in the playoffs a couple times, but
That's sad though.
I'm
That's.
not.
I mean, give me a break.
I'm not giving.
So
I'm
did
not
everybody
saying.
else.
Listen, I'm not saying that, but I wonder: is there something else that we're not seeing? Something he's doing in practices or something? Because he definitely seemed like for a while he wasn't on Sturm's shit list. He wasn't
Well,
for a while, and then he was. Or is
but
it
I
just
think
that
it's right.
Sweeney thinks? There's got to be
Yeah,
something
but
there.
no, you know what
Why?
exactly? I'll tell you exactly what a lot of it is he is a lefty playing on the right side. It's
Well, he only
not
did
an
that this
easy.
year for
Yeah,
half a
but
year. He
again,
didn't do
I
that
get it.
previous
Yeah,
years.
but here's the thing. It's not just an adjustment for him. It's an adjustment for his
I
partner,
understand.
right?
Okay, we're not
And
talking
here's
about.
the thing. Then that means you're always on your weak side when you're on the wall. And so,
Right.
I mean, it is more challenging. So I give him a lot of credit for doing it. I haven't played that position, you know. And again, that's not easy to do. So again, there's that, and then the fact that they just benched him. You know what I mean? Yeah, he made some, but give me a break. Like, if he was the worst guy on the team, but he
No,
wasn't,
no, no,
right?
no. He wasn't. I'm not
I,
saying
I
that.
know, I know, I know. You
I'm
don't want to hear
talking.
this, but that's okay. I'm
It's not
telling you
that.
like it
I'm
is.
saying
You
to
can
you
believe
that
it or not.
no, it's not that.
I
What
give
I'm
the kid a
saying
lot of
to you
credit for the
is that
growth that he had.
there
That's all.
has to be. There's got to be something else than just that they've already decided to move on from him. There has to be.
It's
Has
and
to
you know
be.
what? Yeah, because I'm telling you right now, I don't think that they like the fact that it took him a while to not make the same mistakes over and over again, right? Like I think that
Okay,
bothers.
that bugged me. That bugged me from last two couple years. Same mistake over and over again. I can
Right,
understand that. That
right.
makes sense. If you want to say that's the reason, I get that.
But
Now,
again, here's the thing: the only way he got in the lineup was by playing on his offside. That, talk about setting people up for failure, right? Like he's a young player. I know he's been in the
Aspro was
league 3
playing
years,
better
but he's still a young player.
defensively.
Like that's, but again, like this is stupid on the coaching staff. Like if you need to get this kid in the lineup, right? You're over here playing an AHL fucking scrub. I love Aspro. He played his ass off, but
Played his ass off.
you invested zero into that guy and you gave him everything. You invested a second round pick and all kinds of development into low rye, and yet you give him zero, rope. Like, come on. Like this is what I'm saying. Like, here's the thing. I get it. I was kind of a little miffed, but that's also coaching too, right? Like, you have to let, especially defense at that level is hard. Defense, and then you got to play this man-on-man coverage that was just absolutely atrocious. But again, I get it. Everybody had to do it. I'm not absolving him. He made his mistakes. But what I felt like is, again, this comes down to put guys in a position to
Okay.
succeed, not hey, I'm going to put you in a position where you're going to fail, and if you succeed, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, that's
Yeah,
not how
sure,
this works.
sure. I agree with everything you said. The problem is Aspro played defense better, and you ain't moving Hampus and you ain't moving Zadorov off the left side. So that was the problem.
He had his
That
hold
is
on.
the problem.
Aspro had his moments. Aspro had his moments
I
in the
understand.
in the in the Buffalo series where he got walked
Okay,
up right
wait,
guys.
wait. Slow down. We're
Turn the
talking
puck
about the
over.
playoffs. We're not. I'm talking about the whole 80 games prior to that. Aspro played better defense.
In the
Aspro
regular
played
season. In the regular
the regular
season, when the
season.
when the
Aspro played better
when
defense. I
yeah,
understand we're
when
talking
guys
about
are
the
not
playoffs,
coming 100
but
miles an
Mike,
hour at you,
okay,
live
but
or die, willing to take a
Lorai
puck in the
did
face.
not play well the seasons prior either. Okay,
Hold on. Why do you wait? Hold on. What are you saying?
played
Why are you saying
okay.
they didn't play well? He played on a shit team where again, they didn't do him any favors. And I keep saying this. Why did he come up the year before and they just let him make the mistakes, right? But then nobody actually tried to help him fix any
But
mistakes.
that wasn't
And
Marco
yet
Sturm
he
though the
could
year
have.
before. Okay,
I
but that
get that,
remember
and
that was
I'm not blaming
Montgomery, and
Marco
then
Sturm.
I know, but that was Montgomery and the other guy.
And Montgomery has never been confused with a coach who's going to teach anybody anything.
I understand this. So part of it is that problem, but I don't think I think Lorai could be very good. What I'm saying to
They're going
you
to trade
is
him away, and we're going to see just how good he's going to be eventually.
we
Look
might.
at hold on.
Okay,
Look at
let's get
Noah
off Lorai.
Hannafin.
We're spending way
Hold
too
on.
much
Look at
time
Noah
on Lorai.
Hannafin. Hold on.
Way
Look
too.
at Noah Hannafin. What was he like? The fourth overall pick in
And
his draft.
it took a while for Noah to
It
become
took him
anything.
a good 5 years before he figured
Right,
it out.
right,
Right?
right, right, right. So what do you want to do? You want to trade away Hampus, or you just want to get rid of Aspero, and
I'd
then
trade
hope?
Hampus away. I'd trade Hampus away if that
I
was it.
understand. I love Hampus. If he's healthy, he's better than anybody on that left side. If he's healthy.
Again, you're setting the bar really low. I agree. When Hampus is right, he is. He is that guy, but he's not right. Hasn't been right in two
And a
years.
couple, yeah, I know. But okay, I agree with you. If he's not healthy, who's going
They
to
were
take him?
juicing him up. They were
I
juicing
know.
him up for
Okay,
the
all right,
playoffs, and he
all right.
looked like $1
I
million
said this.
the first three games because
I
he was getting the
understand.
injections, and he's like, "Oh my god, I haven't felt this good in forever."
I get
And
it.
then slowly wore off, right? Diminishing
Right.
returns,
Yeah, yeah.
and he slowly came
I
back
told
down
you
to
this.
earth.
I saw it because I know what those injections are like. I've had them.
Yeah,
I knew it.
yeah.
But my point is that unless if he's not healthy, nobody's gonna want to take him because they're gonna know he's not healthy. I don't
Right, but
think
again, what does that have to do with playing the best six guys you have? Right, like again,
you
they
only
could
have
have
three
they could
spots
have
on the left
sat
side.
Hampus and let him
That's what
recover. They didn't want to do that either.
well,
Like how? This is what I'm saying. Like they were so hell bent on making the
okay.
playoffs
We're spending
over
way too
setting
much time
themselves
on this
up.
lore, I think. Way
No,
too
but
much
this is
time
not
on
about
lore.
low ride. Hold on, but wait, but this is not about low ride. This is about the team, right? Because they were so hell bent on making the playoffs that they forgot that they were supposed to be setting up the next 5 to 10 years,
Oh,
right?
that's okay. That is Don Sweeney and the ownership. That is
Right,
not the
right.
coaching
This is
staff.
again. This has nothing to do with low ride.
And
This is about all of the young guys,
we don't even
right?
know what Sweeney and Cam Neely were telling Sturm. They listen, we got to get to the playoffs. You can't be doing this. We don't know. We have no
Yeah,
clue
I don't. We
because
don't
there's
know.
reports that Montgomery he had a problem with Sweeney telling him what to do. Cassidy said that he had a problem with Sweeney, so we know this does happen. I'm just
Oh
saying.
yeah,
You could be right, but it could also be that there's other things too. I mean, I don't know. I just think Leroy, they knew that they were trading him away. They were going to trade him away at the trade deadline. Remember, Rasmus, he was going for Rasmus Anderson. That was a done deal if Rasmus
Right.
signed a contract. So
Right.
I don't
And the
think
Calgary
Leroy's a
Flames were probably pissed that Rasmus Anderson wouldn't sign a contract with Boston because they
yeah.
probably wanted that first round pick in low rye like you wouldn't
uh,
believe, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. But I mean, I don't see where that's going to change anything for next year. Even if we keep Leroy and trade Hampus or trade Leroy, unless they go and get a strong, at least number 2 right side D and a true number 1 center. It doesn't have to be elite, but a true number 1 center. We ain't doing dick next year, anyways. Ain't
Oh
gonna do
yeah,
the
and then this goes back to the fact that they are still. So you're going to see them probably bring in a bunch of like, and I'm not trying to bang on Connor Zary
yeah. Oh
or
yeah, yeah.
Matt Corrado or somebody
Yeah.
like that, but that's what they're going to do, right? They're gonna fill the roster with a bunch of third liners, right?
Right.
Hoping that
Right.
one of them suddenly magically turns out to be another Morgan Geeky, who really is just a third liner that Pasta has made look like
He's
$1 million.
He's probably a second liner on a lot of teams, but you're right. I mean, on a championship team, third liner.
You do realize maybe there's only 5 guys in the world that can do the stuff that Pasta does, right? Like
I'm not.
I
I
mean,
said
this is not
second line.
like
I didn't say
Kucherov,
first line.
Celebrini, maybe 6, right? Like,
I
I mean,
said
there's not too
second.
many of these guys out there that can
You're.
literally lift
I,
guys
I
up
think
into a
you're
whole nother
confusing
friggin'
the
tax
word
bracket,
number
right? Like
one
he did
and
with this guy.
two. I'm not sure where you're confused
If
there.
there's
I
no
said
hold on, if
second
there's no
line.
Pasta, Geeky scores 18 goals.
Yeah,
Mark it
he's
down.
probably 18 to 20 goals. I agree. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah. I
right.
said second line friggin' left wing. It's what he is. It's what he is. He on a
Jeez,
decent
I thought
team.
the I thought the second line guys usually scored like 25 to 30 goals or more, right?
Where did we have any of those besides Zaka? Besides Zaka, did we have any of those? No. I mean, I think Arvidsson put up 20, right? 20. No, he
Yep.
put 20. 20. Yeah,
25, right? Wait,
I was at
how much
25.
did Zaka
Middle
get?
step put up 18 or
I mean, how
20.
much Zaka got? No, Middleton only got like 14, dude.
Was it
Right?
14?
Yeah, 14.
Whatever. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Our second line, but a lot of teams' second lines are putting up that. It's not like we're the only one. We had other problems. Okay, we had
Yeah.
really no third line, and we barely had a first line. Okay, we
Well,
we
hold
had
on. Hold on. Minton was the third line. I mean, Minton was actually. The kids were doing okay.
Yeah,
They
but they
were
rotated
contributing
the
the
third
best they
line
could.
too much to really call any line a third line. The third line was rotated all year long. Different guys, different. I mean, Elias was down
If
there
you say so, I
sometimes.
mean, I
Mitten was
felt like he pretty much was the third line, right?
well. I
Minton
mean,
essentially
most
was the third line center all year long. Like
no,
they
no, they
forced. Yes, he was. Lindholm was the number 1 guy, the de facto number 1. Zaka was number 2, and Minton was always the number 3 guy all year long. Even
there
in
was
the
at least
playoffs, they
20
never
plus
bumped.
games.
He got bumped up to what, like to first line center for like a couple games. Then he got knocked down to second line, then back to third line by the playoffs. So, and then in the
That's like
playoffs,
half the
they
season,
swapped
but
him and Lindholm for a while. And actually, that might have been the best thing for Lindholm to play on the third line.
well, okay. But I was talking about a third line completely. The third line was jumped around constantly
Yeah,
all
I
year.
get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like
There was
you
a
have a guy
consistent
there,
second line, a consistent fourth line. The first and
right?
the third were
Right.
jumped
First and
around
third
all
were
year
right,
long,
not
all
consistent.
year
Right.
long. There was nothing
Yeah.
consistent about it.
Right.
The fourth line, and the second line were the best lines we had all year. Okay,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Pasta did what Pasta does, but the line itself
Right.
was
Right.
all over the friggin' place. And
Right.
we didn't, they need to have a real first line, a constant first line, at least stuff
Right.
guys that can, stay together. Lindholm is, I don't want to say he sucks because he put up 50 points, Elias, but he's not a good first line center. He's not. You need to get rid of that.
So here's the fucked up part, right? If they and I'm not saying, like, don't take this the wrong way, right? But if you throw DeBrusk back on if they had just re-signed him, right, at the $4.5 million or whatever that he originally wouldn't take, but I think it was more of, I think the agent and because at the end it sounded like DeBrusk didn't want to leave,
Yeah.
except the Bruins just took their offer away, right? So if he stays, right now you have your. I know you don't think he's a first line center. I mean, a first line left wing, but at least he's a guy who can skate and
Yeah.
he can shoot a puck.
All right.
and he's kind
Well,
of streaky, but so isn't Morgan Geeky. So all I'm saying is like you just let pieces walk away and you didn't replace any of them.
no,
And
I
you're right, they
understand.
still
We
need
need
a
to.
center, but
They
again, like
the
even
past two off seasons have not been that great, and we've been on here for an
yeah.
hour and a half, so we got to wrap this
Oh,
up.
okay.
Okay, but yes, the last two off seasons, the best move in the last two off seasons was Zadorov and Janot. The last two off seasons, that's been the best
And
move.
here's the thing: a lot of people still think Janot was a bad signing, even
No,
though
no, no,
I
no,
feel
no,
like he
no,
brought the
no.
intangibles and he changed the way the culture started to come
For
back
what,
a little bit, right?
5 million a year, he's fine. And he skates
Yeah,
good. He works well with Casty. He'd make a great fourth line. I
right,
even think they can make a really good third line. So I think that's crazy to say that was it.
right,
They didn't pay a ton. If you look at the cap,
right,
they didn't pay a ton for him. He's still young. He
right.
does have some offensive skill. It's not hasn't been there, but he
Yeah,
does
but I
have
mean, he
some.
is what he is at this point,
He is
right?
what
He
he
is what
is.
he is.
But he put up 11 goals. Was it 10 goals? Did he get?
If
No,
you
he didn't
say
get
so.
11. I think he got 10. I think he got 9 or 10. But I mean, but for what he does and the locker room presence, they all say they love him.
Right,
He's a guy that when you step on that ice and you want to do something foolish, you do have to think about this.
right,
And
right,
we needed that, right?
right.
So
Again, I'm
Zorov
not
does
going to
what
get all.
Zorov
I'm
does.
not. My panties aren't getting wet over that though. So,
I
but
didn't say
I get
that,
what
but
you're
I
saying.
said the
I get what
past
you're saying.
best two things he's
I
done in
get
the
what
two
you're saying.
seasons.
I get what
Two
you're
off
saying.
seasons. We need more than that this off season.
Yeah, yeah.
Just and
But tell me where
so
it's coming from. So
I
the
don't
only
know.
things I could so unless they're gonna somehow package to get to the number two pick and get Stenberg, even though he's not a center, that would definitely change how people look at the team, right?
You put Ivar Stenberg on the other side of Pasta. You don't think
But you still don't have anybody in the middle to win faceoffs. I mean, this is not. I mean, do you force Minton up there? I mean,
no,
that would be the
I
thing.
think you keep Zaka. You put Zaka. You keep him. You put him in. If you're not going to do anything else, we're going to save. I think next week we're going to do our last draft thing because we'll do it right before the draft. But I think if you that's what you were going to do, if you can't get up to number two, if you get up to number two, you get up to trade away big pieces. You might as well get it, blow everything. You know,
Yeah, no, I'm with
you
you.
ain't
I don't know
San
what kind
Jose's
of.
not taking nothing. They're gonna
Oh,
take
I
Charlie
agree.
Pasta. That's it. Okay. Plus more than the number two. But that's all that's the only way you're getting the number two.
Right, right. I agree. I agree.
You're gonna offer them 4 first-round picks and Fraser Mitten? I mean what
No, because they already have all that. They still
right,
have a bunch of guys
right.
coming up in their pipeline that they don't even have spots for anymore, right? Like
Now I
they're
do
loaded.
believe you could go and we don't have a lot of time, but I do believe you could go get Calgary's number 6 and go get Keaton Verhoff because I believe he's gonna be there at 6.
Yeah, but
I'm
what do you
pretty
think
sure
you're
he's
going to give up to get to number six?
I don't think it's going to be Pasta or Charlie though. Then I think they want. I think they're looking. They're a rebuild team. I think you could. Pagans are number one. Maybe Loch Mellis. Or something else. I'm not saying just that, but I think you could get to number 6 without giving up the core and giving up the Dean Letourneau.
Okay, well, you put together a trade. We'll do that little scenario. You give
Okay,
me, next time we have our podcast, you give me the
because
the scenario. I'll pretend I'm Calgary's GM, and let's hear it because
all
I'll,
right, I'll
you know,
hear my pitch.
because I already have multiple picks in the first round. So I mean, you got
Yeah,
to do me something
I
special.
think I think Keaton Verhoff will be there at 6, or Schmitz drops because of his bad interview, and it takes Schmitz too. I'd
Yeah,
rather have
I mean,
Keaton. Some reason
I
I
think
think
there's going to
Keaton's going to
be
be an animal.
all of those guys are going to be gone by pick 7 or 8, right? Like all of them are
Right,
going to be
right.
gone.
That's why I say
All
six.
those
Six is the
defensemen are
last
going to be gone.
contender. 6 is the last contender. I think to get somebody like that.
I
That's why
think I think once that run happens, Jeremy Lin will then ended up going probably
Ryan
like
Lynn.
in the. I
Ryan
mean,
Lynn.
Ryan Lin will probably go like in the next
Yeah,
5 picks after that, right? Like
exactly. He's going
he's
to go
not going to
between
go
10
too
and
far
12.
after that,
Yep.
right?
I think
He'll probably
between
go
8 and
12 to
12. Yeah.
13 somewhere around there,
Yep.
and you're like, wow, all of those guys are long gone, right?
Yep. 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 I mean,
And
that's
now
the thing.
and again, I'm not saying there's still plenty of good players and some decent defensemen, but like, they're
Um,
not in the same, you know,
before we end this thing here, because we're at like over an hour and 40 minutes.
yeah, we better
Um,
wrap it up.
I might be able to have that day off. You want to do it? I don't know if if we have enough. If we're allowed on YouTube to do live yet. I got to go look and
Oh,
see.
all right.
We might. I got to check and see if our YouTube channel can go live. Maybe we do a live draft, but I got to look and
Well,
see if
that'd be
we're at that.
fun.
I think you
That'd be
have to have
fun.
so many people look at your videos. I gotta go check
Oh,
on the
got you.
live.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. I mean, I think on Facebook we've had 300 on the last video look watch. So,
Nice.
hey, for us that's a great. I think we, you know, but
Ah,
yeah,
it's just fun hanging out with my bro and talking
hell
some
yeah.
hockey anyway.
This
So
is awesome. I love this. All right,
yeah.
brother. We're gonna call it a night here. This episode 5. And man, so it's a very interesting conversation. Let's hope we get some more information. And please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Love
Love
you,
you, bro.
bro.